Welcome everyone to our Friday Finger Labyrinth meditation. Today's meditation will be and walk will be led by Judith Tripp, one of our longtime faculty here at Veriditas. Judith is a therapist by day and on her off hours has done a lot to develop the Women's Dream Quest over 35 years. We're very pleased to have her on faculty. She also presents Meeting Mary for us, which I'll have some announcements at the end to share with you. But for now, I'm going to turn it over to Judith.
Thank you, John. It's not 35 years yet. It's only 33.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, how is everybody? We've had quite a week, haven't we? You can imagine all the feelings and all the nervous systems working on whatever it is we've seen on our televisions and known from our news, etc. And I'm so happy to see us all here joining in our community with our practice that takes us inside and is the ballast for any action that we do in the world. So I'd like us today I'm going to read a couple of poems and share with you a meditation just to help us relax and be with what's going on in the world. Because clearly that's what one of our jobs is to do as wise and aware people as we watch our world do what our world does, is to bear witness in a profound and deeply felt way. I'm sure that's really part of many of our practices, and it's so good to do it together. This Friday afternoon connection on Zoom has become quite a community, and Robin was mentioning it as church. It's something we do every week. It's some way we come together, and it's been lovely to see your faces and to know your presence around. I look forward to this every week as we come together, and we've developed a few practices over the time we've been together. The thing we do every week is make a suggestion that when we do this finger walk, that we do it with our non-dominant hand. For me, that's my left. And if you can, sometimes to try the walk with your finger with your eyes closed, just feeling the surface if you have some grooves to walk in. And that tends to bring us into the other side of our brains, basically, and open the inner doors. And that's what we're really after. We know the labyrinth is so excellent at opening the inner doors. And the labyrinth, as we know, is so excellent at ordering chaos. And certainly we could say we are experiencing a moment of chaos. I was reading something about the true meaning of the word apocalypse. And apparently the true meaning of that is that it lifts the veil. And I don't know anyone in my world, at least I'm talking to, and my clients and my friends and myself, who hasn't felt that there's something new opening up for us in the midst of everything that's going on. So if we think of the disruption and the intensity of what we're experiencing in our world as a lifting of the veil so that we see the truth, then that allows for us to move to a place of more reconciliation and more understanding. And I think that is truly a hopeful piece of what's going on. President Obama the other day was in a town hall and spoke in his eloquent way about that this is something new, something he hasn't seen in his whole lifetime. And perhaps there's some new things coming our way, some ways that we can become more what our country has always dreamed to be. So I'm offering those thoughts. I'm sure you all had lots of thoughts and discussions as you've gone through the week. But if we take those thoughts and feelings and sensations into the labyrinth walk, we'll see what we do with them. There's an alchemy that happens when we walk. Something new comes out of our experience usually, and I hope that for all of us. what I'd like to do is just lead us in a little bit of a relaxing meditation, and then there are three different poems, or one actually. Let me just read this one first because it's more of in the lines of what I'm talking about. This is a quote from Cornel West, and he said, "Empathy is not simply a matter of trying to imagine what others are going through, but having the courage to do something about it. In a way, empathy is predicated upon hope." I love that. So for a moment, just let yourself be eyes closed and find your feet on the floor. And look and round inside of you and find that dependable friend, our friend, the breath. And whatever breathing practice you do to quiet yourself and come inside, do that for a moment. And I invite us to take one inhale in, receiving the life-giving air. And on your out breath, please let out whatever kind of sigh or shout or any sound at all that wants to come. You're all muted, so you make any sound you want. So the next exhale, letting it go. And the next inhale, breathing in the solidarity of our community. The next exhale, see if there's even more that wants to be released with sound of your breath. And then breathing in the solidarity of our country in whatever state that may be in. Letting yourself belong there for a moment. And with the out breath, letting go of anything that's in the way of finding the one true heart that connects us. And one more deep inhale and breathing in the beauty of our entire world, our Pachamama Gaia, however we call her, that sense of us all together, breathing in that. And letting the next exhale be anything that is fractured and not of unity. And then please just come to the breath as it comes and goes from you. And let yourself feel the quietude. That was the name of the piece we came into. The quietude that we can find when we remember to breathe. We remember our connection to earth. We remember our connection to each other. When we let our awareness expand to the greater good, when we let our connections expand to our Mother Earth. And from there, I'm going to read a Mary Oliver poem to you, please. Bringing back in the theme of trees that I've been fascinated with lately. So let this come in just like the breath. When I'm among the trees, especially the willows and the honey locust, equally the beech, the oaks, and the pines, they give off such hints of gladness. I would almost say that they save me, and daily. I am so distant from the hope of myself, in which I have goodness and discernment, and never hurry through the world, but walk slowly and bow often. Around me the trees stir in their leaves and call out, "Stay a while." The light flows from their branches, and they call again. It's simple, they say. And you too have come into this world to do this, to go easy, to be filled with light, and to shine. So if you want to, find your hands on your labyrinth And we're going to listen to some music as we walk several times. You might begin with the practice Lars shared with us, where we breathe in as we circumambulate the labyrinth with our finger around the edge, a third of the breath in breath, and then 2/3 breathing out as you circle your labyrinth. And come back to that practice anytime you want to feel a calm. Every time we breathe out longer than we breathe in, it settles us. And we'll take the next 10 minutes as we do, doing this walk, having a time of quiet and meditation. And at the end, I'll draw us back together on the center of our labyrinths as we listen deeply to ourselves. Remember that whatever we receive here is for the good of all. So I wish you a blessed walk. And here comes the music. So, wherever you are in your walk, allow your hands to come back to the middle of your labyrinth, feeling the paths under your fingers, allowing yourself to feel again the grounding of your feet on the earth, the quiet loyalty of your breath, as John O'Donohue says, always with us, taking us deeper in, grounded, present, being with what is. And with our eyes closed here for a moment, please remember the first labyrinth that comes to mind where you stood in the center or sat in the center. Let that just come out of your imagination. so that the centers of many labyrinths are with us. And let yourself really remember that, remember the feeling of it, and perhaps remembering whether it was outside, the temperature of the air. Notice who you're with. Notice if there's music. And let yourself have that memory really strong right now, because we're going to be in that center place for a moment, a place where we come home to rest, where we've had our inward walk and we're resting now for a moment in communion. All of us individually, opening to whatever wisdom that is here for us right now. And letting that come to you, enter you, arrive with you. Might be a feeling, might be words. Just allowing yourself to partake of that. That's what our labyrinth is helpful for in times like this. Okay, then imagining now that you step outside of that center into some of the circles of the labyrinth. See where you stand, and imagine that you're reaching out your hands and touching hands of others who are with you, all of us here, all many, many of us. And let your hands feel that touch of that warm hand that we all long to have more of. And feel our circle strong here in our imaginations on the universal labyrinth, made up of all those individual labyrinths we just imagined. That common experience of coming to center and then coming to community. And from this place of community, of feeling the circles, maybe there are many circles, truly, many of us, and imagining the circles that I often call on, the circles of our beloved ones standing with us, encircling us, and the circles of the ancestors, encircled by the circle of all the invisible beings that we share the planet with, and all those we share the planet with on the physical level of the trees and plants and animals, feeling that sense of unity of all creation here. And then please, if you're willing, imagine that within our midst, in the center of our universal labyrinth here, all those who are suffering now from the pandemic, from 400 years of oppression, all of us who suffer from the ravages of racism. Imagine all those within our midst being bathed by the goodness of our intention here, to add beauty, peace, love, the one heart, sending that with all your intention right into the midst of our troubles. And please pray whatever prayer comes to you for the good of all. And then please come back to your very own breath. Let go of the imaginal hands, and you might put your hands over your own heart for a moment. Breathing in here the goodness of your breath, the goodness that you receive from community. Allowing yourself to ask in prayer for anything that you need right now. In the way of love, the way of health, in the ways of hope. We can ask for these things deeply. And receive the answer to your prayer, the Spirit's gift. Let it fill you. fill you to overflowing. I think I want to end us with Blowing in the Wind, okay? I'm sure we all know the chorus at least, and I'll sing the verse. We'll do that. Okay, so it goes, how many roads must a man walk down before they call him a man? Yes, and how many seas must the white dove sail before they sleep in the sand? How many times must the cannonballs fly before they're forever banned? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind.